Good evening and welcome to this Tuesday night edition of 4FSU Weather. I'm student meteorologist Shane Pendleton.
And I'm student meteorologist Kimball. And today has been quite a splendid day across Tallahassee.
It has been quite beautiful, following in the tradition of the long weekend, which we were sad to see come to an end. But it wasn't too bad getting back to school this morning as the sun broke over a gorgeous but cool daybreak.
Yeah, we saw a lot more no jacket, we saw a lot more shorts outside, so it was quite a good day for the Tallahassee region. We expect to see more of that in the next couple of days following.
Yeah, indeed. It was a bit of a day to dress in layers, though, because we did top out at 70 degrees this afternoon. So we basically stepped from winter last week into spring this week, didn't we?
Oh, yes, we did. And I know I was very happy with that. I woke this morning, had a jacket on, but when I got outside, it was absolutely gorgeous. So nice to see the sun finally break, finally rear its head out, and it's nice get some warmth in the area.
Yeah, in fact, our afternoon high today was 2 degrees above our seasonal average for this time of year. Now, we won't expect this trend to go on forever, but it has been abundant sunshine, just gorgeous weather. We want to encourage everyone to get outside and enjoy it while they can.
Yeah, especially since it's started week. We see a little more rain probably later on in the week, but for now, a lot more sunshine for today and tomorrow. So basically a lot more 70s going on the rest of the day and into tomorrow.
Yeah, we're not going to give away the whole forecast just yet, but for an overview of the show, let's send it out to Melanie at the wall.
Thank you, Shane. Yeah, you guys were really talking about that abundant sunshine, and that sunshine was just great, and it's going to be sticking around for the next couple days, but that's quickly going to be changing. But now let's take it back home. We're sitting at 68 in Tallahassee. The clouds are starting to make their way in. I know we had a very clear day, and as you can tell by satellite and radar, all that clear skies. There's not very many clouds, but the clouds are going to be starting to return as we reach into the evening hours. But looking at tonight, it's going to be another chilly night. 48 degrees, there's a 20% chance of rain, so I wouldn't let that rain cancel any nighttime plans. Again, the clouds are going to be rolling in, and we're going to be seeing those seasonable temperatures. But for the week ahead, we're going to have sunshine tomorrow, but that rain is going to return. So get outside tomorrow and enjoy that sunshine while you can. And with the rain, we're going to be returning to those cooler temperatures. So the seasonable, the cool is going to be returning, and enjoy that sunshine tomorrow. When will the rain return, though? We'll figure that out later in the forecast, but now let's take it back to the desk.
Thank you, Melanie. Another magnificent forecast indeed.
It is for sure. Now, one part of the country is going to see a very different forecast than here in Florida. That's the northern half of the country, which will be impacted by a lot of snowy weather this week.
Yeah, we see a lot more snow coming into the area. We look at the radar the past couple of hours, seeing a lot more snow started coming, starting to make sure it's a little more wintry weather up in the north.
Yep, these systems are coming in from Western Canada, making their way across the Great Plains to the mid-Atlantic. And because of their point of origin, they're known as Alberta Clippers.
Ooh, yes, I know that's going to be a lot more cold air. But because of that cold air in the north, we're seeing a lot more warmer air in the south.
Yes, fortunately, these clippers are keeping all the snowy, icy weather up to their north and leaving us in the clear down here. We're still being dominated by high pressure, which is responsible for the gorgeous weather that we can't say enough about.
Yes, but for more about what's happening around locally for Tallahassee, take it over to the Jolly John.
It almost felt like spring here today, still sitting in the 60s. This is actually close to our seasonal average for high temperatures this time of year. It has been a tad bit dry, though. Dew point down there at 48 degrees. A couple of clouds filtering through the area, but not even a shower today. Even at the coastline today, where there was a little bit more moisture this afternoon to work with around the area, we're looking in the mid-60s right now. 66 in Quincy, 62 in Apalachicola, and 61 at Carabel, where the shelf waters are a little bit cooler down there along the coastline. Up towards the north, we're still in the mid-60s for most of the area, and clouds were around most of today, just a few low clouds hanging on, and even a shower down off the coast of Apalachicola and Port St. Joe down towards the southwest of our area. These clouds are going to stream across the area through the overnight hours and clear out for tomorrow, on and off through tomorrow afternoon. Tomorrow and Thursday are going to be a little bit of a transitional day. We get this first storm system that really didn't produce a whole lot of rain across Florida, but it's going to be getting out of the way tomorrow. We've got another disturbance up towards the north, and this really is going to bring in a couple of those lower clouds during the overnight hours. This also is going to get out of the way, and then we have to start walking back towards the west, I-10 is going to be kind of like a train track over the next 2 days or so, bringing in the next storm system that hasn't even formed yet. And Casey will be getting to that in a little bit in the national forecast. But here's the cold front that is just off towards our north. You didn't even notice that on the satellite, but this is going to come down towards the south through the next 48 hours, bringing in a little bit of a cool air disturbance coming in through the evening hours on tonight, and then on Wednesday morning we get an extra boost of cooler air. Not really any mention in the noticeable factory there. Seasonable conditions as we head into Wednesday afternoon. About 2 days I think we're going to have. Tomorrow, seasonable conditions up in the 70s, and then just a slight drop of that cool front as we head into Thursday with temperatures down into the upper 60s for highs. And then we start to look off towards the west. There's lots of rainfall that'll be forming on Thursday morning into Thursday evening from Texas into Louisiana, and this is going to come off towards the east as we head into Thursday evening and into Friday morning. Might have to use the word washout as we head into Friday morning with all this rain coming in, possibility upwards of 3 to 4 inches of rainfall in some localized areas. But for now, we're looking at 48 degrees, chilly outside tonight, but get outside tomorrow because we're going to be looking at awesome conditions tomorrow, getting up into the upper 60s, closer to 70 during the middle of the afternoon with just a few clouds passing through. Good day to head out to the beach tomorrow. We're looking like this, 1 to 2 foot surf out there, north winds at 5 to 10 knots. Cool water though, that's going to keep those temperatures down at the Gulf tomorrow. UV index at a 6 tomorrow. The week ahead, again, we got to get through that rainy spot on Friday morning into Friday afternoon. A couple of inches of rain on the way, and then we clear out as we head towards the weekend. Now, Casey, take us around the southeast.
Thanks so much, Jonathan. Let's go ahead and delve into that. And as we do, we see the weather situation across our Big Bend region. There's a few clouds around, but not really too big of a factor. Can't run an isolated sprinkler tonight, but not too big of a deal here across our viewing circle. Now, taking a look, though, down towards central and south Florida, we do see some high-level clouds persisting, but again, not too big of a factor in toward their forecast. Water vapor, we can see that even though there's some moisture in the upper levels of the atmosphere, indicated in the green color from Montgomery to Atlanta, we see there's really not too big of a factor in terms of actual precipitation at the ground level. Now, going ahead and seeing the current temperatures across the southeast, we see 64 right now in the metro area, 66 up toward Montgomery, 67 in New Orleans. Seasonable, nice weather conditions. Most areas in the southeast, in fact, in the 60s at this hour, or at least the upper 50s. Not too big of a variety in temperatures, though we'll keep an eye on that as this kind of starts to change as we get into later into the period. Current relative humidity values, though, we see 56% toward Tallahassee, 65% down toward Orlando, a little more sticky air as we get down towards central and southern Florida, but no, not the stickiness isn't around like you would see in the summer. Pretty much nice conditions in terms of that, even though it was a cool morning, a nice afternoon here across the region and the southeast. Your futurecast does show, though, that we could see some cool temperatures tonight. Again, maybe a stray sprinkle or two, but not too big of a factor here this evening. We'll keep an eye on it. Nothing like what we're expecting to see as we get into late Thursday and into Friday. Could see some very heavy rain into our forecast. We see a cool front does push through tomorrow morning, but not having too big of an impact on the forecast area. And even on the southeast, just bringing maybe some seasonable conditions. Relatively nice here across our area as we get into Wednesday, but we'll be watching very closely on Thursday out toward Louisiana and Texas, out toward talking about maybe Houston, Texas. Some rain will start to approach the region, getting into later on Thursday, New Orleans, out toward Mobile. That rain starts to get a little bit closer, and on Friday we could in fact see a watch out, so we'll keep an eye on that very closely for you. 2 to 4 inches of rain are possible. Tonight, 48 degrees, pretty nice around here. This is Trey Sprinkle. Tomorrow, seeing 72 degrees here in the metro area. Temperature a little cooler to our north, but not too big of a factor. Nice weather conditions. Right now, let's go ahead and send it back over to the desk with Shane and Jay.
Thanks very much, Casey. And now it's time for our favorite segment on 4FSU Weather, Today in Weather History.
And of course, back in this day, in 1909, in Washington, D.C., they got 10 inches of snow with high winds for President Taft's inauguration.
Oh, that was a blustery first day in office for him, I'm sure.
Oh, yes.
Meanwhile, in 1937, Boca, California had a temperature of negative 45 degrees, the coldest ever recorded in the state. Whew. And remember, California is known for its beaches and surfers. This is a very unseasonable temperature for them.
Yes, but the one I found most interesting back in this day was in 1943 in South Dakota. They had a famous black, on the famous Black Hills, South Dakota, and as well as Lead. They had almost a swing of difference. They were 1.5 miles apart, but they had 58 degrees temperature in one place and negative 12 in another place.
Yeah, that goes to show what a difference elevation can make. And now let's send it off to Casey for a look around the whole country.
Thanks so much. Let's go ahead and delve into this a little bit more, Shane and Jay, as we do down toward Missouri. We're talking about up toward Missouri. See a few stray sprinkles there and toward St. Louis, but your eyes are probably turning toward areas just to the west of Minneapolis. There's some pretty heavy snowfall not too far from Pierre, and toward areas in that region, South Dakota there. We'll keep an eye on that, though, and we'll delve into the localized impacts of this here and toward those communities here in just a couple minutes. Now, current temperature-wise, we see 81 right now, very warm down towards San Antonio. And don't really expect to see 81 degrees anywhere in the country, maybe except in toward Arizona this time of year. But pretty warm conditions in towards San Antonio, maybe Miami as well. But again, 67 New Orleans, down up toward Birmingham, 62 degrees, nice weather conditions in the southern half of the U.S. But in the northern half of the U.S., you can kind of almost split the difference here. We see up to the northern part, much cooler conditions, 31 in Minneapolis, 36 in Billings, but still nicer than they would expect this time of year in those communities as well. A little bit warmer than expected, making it a little nicer feeling in those areas. Now going ahead and seeing those temperature change over the 24-hour period, we see Amarillo, Texas, cooling down a little bit based on what they were 24 hours ago. They're 24 degrees cooler than what they were yesterday. This is a sign of things to come as we're expecting some heavy snow to move toward that area, which I'll detail here in just a moment. Here at Tallahassee, pretty much the same weather conditions as we seen yesterday. Not too big of a difference, not any difference, in fact, over the last 24 hours in terms of temperature. Now, the outlook for temperature, this is kind of on a more broad perspective here. Every bit we do see an outlook from the government and the National Weather Service kind of highlighting this, the Climate Prediction Center, in fact, and we see in the blue color, colder conditions are expected in average in the eastern part of the country in the blue, warmer conditions in average in the red. So we'll watch that for you. That's for the next 2 weeks. And in terms of precipitation, we're expecting drier conditions in average in the orange color and wetter conditions in average in the green color over the same time period. Where there's no color, we see the conditions will be around average. Now going ahead and taking a look satellite and radar-wise, we do see that there is a little bit of snow was around Detroit earlier, kind of lingering out. It was around Lansing, Michigan as well. Going a little bit further to the west, though, we do see Minneapolis. They were getting quite a bit of snow just to the west of them earlier in eastern South Dakota, but again, not too big of a factor. Quickly, we'll go to watches and warnings. We didn't have a winter storm warning in northeast New Mexico and northwest Texas. Also a winter storm watch for areas like Amarillo and Midland. The northeast, also a winter weather advisory not too far from Harrisburg. We'll just go ahead and jump right on to tonight's forecast, and we'll see nicer conditions here. 48 degrees Tallahassee. Tomorrow we'll see temperatures 72. Cooler conditions to the north as well. But right now, let's send it over to Shane with a closer look toward our area.
Thanks very much, Casey. What we've got going on right now are very seasonable temperatures right now. It's gorgeous outside across the Big Bend region. We've got 64 degrees in Tallahassee, 63 in Monticello, and 65 in Mariana. So conditions are pretty uniform across the whole region right now. And the winds, well, they're coming primarily out of the south right now for Tallahassee and Quincy, and also Mariana. This is bringing up moisture from the Gulf of Mexico. It is responsible for the warmer conditions that we've seen today, with a bit of a hint of mugginess in the air. And speaking of moisture, we've got our water vapor map right here. And Tallahassee is pretty neutral right now. It's neither too dry nor too moist outside, but that's because we're sandwiched between two systems right now. All this moisture over North Alabama and Georgia, that's scooting on out to the east, and we've got a pocket of dry air over the Gulf of Mexico scooting onto the peninsula of Florida right now. What we don't see on the map, though, is what's yet to come. But for right now, let's look at the satellite and radar. This gives us a picture of what we saw over the last few hours. And the panhandle of Florida was not living up to its name of the Sunshine State today. The peninsula had lots of clouds moving over today, not too much rainfall, and I'll be coming back to that in just a few minutes with the Around Florida segment. But for right now, I want to tell you about the beach forecast for tomorrow. As it's going to be gorgeous here in the capital, it's also going to be beautiful down there on the coast, maybe Panama City Beach or St. Mark's. We're going to have light winds of 5 to 10 knots, a surf of 1 to 2 feet, and the UV index is going to be high tomorrow. So if you do have the opportunity to go out to the beach, make sure you bring sunscreen. We don't want anyone getting sunburned in these gorgeous conditions. Water, though, is still a little bit too chilly for swimming, at least in my opinion. And as for the weather ahead, we've got a cold front moving in from the northwest, and that's not going to be shaking up our weather too much. We might be seeing a few clouds passing by tomorrow as we see sunny conditions and seasonable temperatures throughout. But here's where things start to get different. Thursday, we see this pocket of moisture, which is the result of what's known as a Gulf low, begin to move into our region, and by Thursday evening, it's knocking on our doorstep and getting ready to bring in a round of evening showers. As for tonight here in Tallahassee, though, none of that. It's going to be a bit chilly, but clear, with rainfall at 20% and temperatures at 48 degrees in Tallahassee, 46 in Bainbridge. Warming up tomorrow to highs of 72 in Tallahassee, likewise at the coast for a warm and gorgeous afternoon. As for the 7 days ahead, we've got mostly sunshine for you until Friday, clearing out again over the weekend. I'll be back in just a minute, but let's send it off to John and Casey for a story about a historic winter outbreak.
Thanks, Shane. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Arctic outbreak of 1985, John.
Yeah, there were a number of all-time record lows set on this date back in 1985.
First off, in Akron, Ohio, negative 24 degrees. Chicago, Illinois, they were at negative 27 degrees for their low temperature.
And Nashville dropped down to 17 degrees, and Raleigh dropped down to 9 degrees.
That's right, very cool conditions. None of the country seeing conditions like that. Just an icebox, really. You could almost describe it as 30 years ago on this day. But now looking a little bit closer toward this area and the state of Florida, Jacksonville also set an all-time record low.
Yeah, we saw temperatures in the single digits and the teens across most of Florida and much of Georgia as well, but nothing like that here across the Big Bend area anytime soon, really. Just a little bit of rain as we head into the end of the week, but nothing like that in the single digits across most of Florida. Now, Shane, we're going to take a look at the warmer temperatures now.
Thanks a lot, guys. It's hard to believe we saw temperatures like that. Single digits in the Sunshine State. It's almost unheard of. And for what we've got going on right now, temperatures are pretty uniform across the whole Sunshine State. We've got 64 degrees here in the capital, a little cooler in Jacksonville. Sun's already gone down over there. And warmer as usual to the south. Miami is currently at 71 degrees. Now, speaking about the clouds that I was talking about earlier, here we take a look at the loop of the satellite from earlier today, and it was pretty overcast from Orlando to Tampa down to Miami until mid-afternoon when those clouds were finally pushing out. A few high clouds still lingering as the sun sets over the peninsula right now. And we had a mostly cloud-free day, save for some puffy cumulus clouds that are more typical of summer conditions here in the capital of Florida, but sunny and clear overall. Now, we noticed that those clouds that moved over Florida, while they didn't bring rainfall, they did have a lot of moisture at higher levels of the atmosphere, and there wasn't enough moisture to fall out of the cloud and become known as rainfall. But those bright shades of green on our map from earlier today cannot go unnoticed, and we've got a pocket of moisture and dry air to follow. That's these shades of brown and orange over Fort Myers that are moving onto the peninsula now, keeping for a sunny day for the Sunshine State tomorrow. Now let's take a radar tour of the state right now. There's not much to see, but that's something to talk about in and of itself. We've got clear skies over the whole panhandle from Tallahassee back to Pensacola, and the similar conditions off to our east. Jacksonville not reporting anything right now. Nothing to speak of in Daytona Beach or Ocala either. Let's shift our gaze south and see what we can find there. Nothing as well in Miami or Fort Myers or Naples, just a little bit of spotty showers moving out with some denser clouds that did have water fall out of them earlier today, make for some rainfall over the southern tip of the peninsula. But let's take a look at the whole state right now and talk about what conditions we're going to be seeing over the next few days. Cooler temperatures as the cold front moves its way through our region, sunny skies to follow, and as we mentioned earlier, that rainfall will be knocking on our doorstep as we move in to the evening hours on Thursday. And then Friday, we don't know exactly how much rain is going to fall, but we're expecting from dawn to dusk, precipitation will be falling. Now here's how we're going to break down tomorrow for you. Starting off at 48 degrees here in Tallahassee for those early bird 8 a.m. classes. Warming to 63 degrees by lunch, 67 by the evening commute. It's going to be a beautiful day overall. Get outside and enjoy it if you can. It's just going to be lovely. But for the whole state, Miami will just be cooling down to 66 degrees tonight. 47 in Jacksonville, that's a bit nippy by comparison. Warming up to 72 degrees in Tallahassee, 70 in Jacksonville, and warming all the way up to 82 degrees in Miami. And now for a very different type of forecast, let's send it off to Jay for the winter weather.
Yes, the winter weather. It's going to be more so to the north versus anything else. The south, we're seeing a lot more drier conditions, but I'll get to that in just a bit. Sun radar, like I've said, a lot more of the winter weather is up near Minneapolis, North South Dakota, as well as places to the northeast, Washington, D.C. You're seeing a couple of snow flowers in the area, snow flurries, excuse me, to be exact. But again, I'm going to take a zoom in and look about that. For North South Dakota, you are seeing a lot of snow in the area that's coming right at you. But again, that's going to be passing off a little bit later on in the week. But for now, you're seeing a lot of snow in the area. And Minneapolis, you're going to see that in just a bit as well. We get it later on in Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. But for more of a look around south, if you're in the southwest, you are seeing a couple of snow advisories in place for parts of upper Texas, as well as parts of Albuquerque and Denver. You're seeing a couple of advisories and winter weather watches as well. So let's take a look about temperatures around the nation. You're seeing 68 in Dallas, you're seeing 81 in San Antonio. So most of the southern states seeing a lot more warmer temperatures. You see 64 in Tallahassee, 67 in New Orleans, and 71 in Miami. But again, we still have a system that's coming in from Texas all the way across to Tallahassee later on with a lot more rain associated with that as well. Current temperatures are 64 in Tallahassee, 60 in Valdosta, 61 in Gainesville, so a bunch of 60s all across the capital city as well as parts of the southeast as well. And with future temperatures, you'll see temperatures in the 60s for a while. You're seeing all the way up to Wednesday. On Wednesday morning, you see 37 in Atlanta, 49 in New Orleans. But when we go into Wednesday afternoon, later on into Wednesday night, you're seeing 56 in Dallas, 57 in San Antonio, 59 in New Orleans. If we take it back over to the west, you are seeing 65 in Phoenix and 42 in Albuquerque. So again, temperatures will be quite low for Wednesday night going into Thursday. But when you take a look at Doppler radar right now, you're not seeing rain just for the moment. But again, we're going to see rain a little bit later on in the week, probably late Thursday, early Friday. You see a lot of rain coming to the area, but we'll give you a better look on that later on in the week. Tonight's forecast, you're seeing 48 in Tallahassee, 49 in Valdosta, 53 in Pendleton. So make sure you have a jacket if you're going to go outside for tonight. Going into tomorrow, you're going to see a lot more warmer temperatures as well. You're seeing 72 in Tallahassee, 75 in Valdosta. So again, a lot more warmer temperatures are going to be in the area for tomorrow. So quite a sunny one and quite a warm one indeed for the capital city. But I know some people that love some warm weather. Let's take it back over to the desk with Casey and John.
I know those people in Albuquerque would really love some of these 70s right now. They're actually in a winter storm warning for a lot of snow in that area, and that's going to start to translate to West Texas tomorrow.
That's right. We're expecting some very heavy snow in towards some of these areas. We're talking about Santa Fe to Amarillo.
Yes, some of those areas in the Panhandle region of Texas and northeastern New Mexico could see upwards of 6 to 12 inches of snow.
That's right. Very heavy potential for some snow in toward those regions. Very unusual, really, to see that in toward those areas for them, considering they're going to be getting more snow than really anywhere else in the country.
Yeah, and that's going to translate almost as far south as I-20. Some places even along I-20 could see a couple of inches of snow, even getting closer to Austin. Not quite Austin, but they're going to pick up some heavy rainfall there, starting in Austin.
Yeah, we were just looking at San Antonio being very warm in toward the 80s, in fact.
Yep.
But not the case in toward some of these areas as we get later in toward the period. But right now, let's go ahead and take it over to Melanie with our third local forecast.
Thank you, Casey. Yeah, today we had just a very seasonable day. Right now we're sitting at 64. The temperature has actually dropped in the past 20 minutes. So if you are outside, make sure to have that jacket because the temperatures are going to be continuing to drop as we move throughout the night. But taking a look at the rest of the Big Bend, we're sitting at 64 in Quincy, 65 in Marianna, 62 down in Apalachicola. So basically, as you can mid 60s, low 60s, high 50s, all around the board. And those temperatures are going to be continuing to drop. And now taking a look at our satellite and radar, this morning you can see we had a lot of high cloud cover, but as we progressed later into the day, those clouds started to clear and left us with those sunny, beautiful skies, which will be the story again for tomorrow. With all those clouds, there was a lot of moisture in those clouds, indicated by the green on the water vapor map, but there was not a lot of rain with it, thankfully. Right now in Tallahassee, we're not seeing too moist air, we're not seeing too dry air. We're sitting at perfect conditions, and it's going to be beautiful just for tomorrow and Thursday, but then the rain is really going to come back Thursday night. Right now we're going to have another cool night, and this cold front is going to dip to our area. It's not going to bring with it much rain. It's only going to drop the temperatures slightly. It's going to be very seasonable conditions, clear skies for your Wednesday night around 6 p.m. But watch out, because Thursday we see this Gulf low really making the moisture prevalent, and that rain is going to be moving into our area by Thursday at 6 p.m. So there's going to be some PM showers, and that's going to be our Thursday night into Friday. So we're going to be seeing that rain. So get out and enjoy the sun while you can. Tonight, though, we're going to have another chilly night, 48 degrees, 47 in St. Mark's, 47 in Quincy. It's going to be another chilly night. The clouds are going to come back, so if you do go out, make sure to have that jacket. Tomorrow, it's going to be another seasonable day like today, 72 degrees in Tallahassee, 70 in Quincy, a little bit cooler towards the coast. It's going to be another warm, pleasant afternoon with that sunshine. But taking a look at the week ahead, that rain starts to come in Thursday night, 50% chance, and then it continues into Friday with a 70% chance. So really get out, enjoy that sunshine for Wednesday and Thursday, because Friday it's going to be one of those days that nobody really likes. It's going to be cold, it's going to be rainy, so just make sure if you're on campus to be prepared, have the rain boots, have the jackets, because it's going to be that bad combination of cold and rain. But by the weekend it's going to clear out, and our temperatures are going to be dropping again, reaching 37 on Sunday for your Monday morning low. So if you like those temperatures, they're going to be back. We just have that one hiccup to get over Friday. But for the rest of the week, we're looking quite pleasant. What do you guys think?
Well, the conditions look to be pretty nice until we get to Friday, and that could be a bit of the block in the road, per se.
Yeah, and if you're heading west tomorrow into Thursday, say you're heading to maybe Bourbon Street or Pensacola Beach, it's going to be a wet one over the next couple of days.
That's right. We're talking about areas around Pensacola, in fact. Also into Hattiesburg, Jackson, Mississippi. So quite a bit of areas, in fact, getting into some very heavy rainfall into some of those communities.
Yeah, just about everyone south of I-20, almost all the way towards Atlanta, seeing 1 inch or more of rainfall all the way down to the Gulf Coast.
That's right. We're talking about quite a bit of precipitation in toward those communities. We could even see some isolated flooding in some lower lying areas. So make sure, just remember the National Weather Service's mantra there, turn around, don't drown, as some of these areas could have some pretty serious conditions. But let's go ahead and jump ahead to that 7-day forecast now. We do see 72 on Wednesday. We're talking about conditions getting a little bit cooler into the 60s as we get later in the week.
Yeah, you got to get over that bump on Friday, that 70% chance of rain, some heavy rain, in fact, before we get to that weekend. Cool weekend in store, but a much better weekend after we get past Friday.
That's Friday towards Saturday, 20% chance of rain, and then really the rain chances not too much of a factor as we get into early next week.
Yeah, and we're working on that live stream still, folks, but you can always catch us on Twitter and on Facebook now, as well as Instagram, through the next couple of days, keeping you in tune with that rain on Friday.
That's right. We'll watch that closely for you. Some areas could see, and probably most of the area will see 2 to 4 inches of rain. So we'll be keeping an eye on that for you very closely here in the FSU Weather Center. But for now, I'm Casey Cloud.
I'm meteorologist Jonathan Bellis. Have a great Wednesday and Thursday coming up.